Imagine if you could unlock the ability to learn almost anything in just 2 days. It sounds like a bold claim, doesn't it? But what if the real barrier to learning isn't our ability, but the way we approach it? Before we delve into any strategies or techniques, let's consider something fundamental: our mindset. Have you ever started learning something new, only to feel overwhelmed by the process? Maybe it was a new language, a technical skill, or even a hobby. Often, the biggest obstacle isn't the complexity of the task, but our own mental barriers. A learning mindset is all about belief. Belief in your ability to learn, belief in the process, and belief that mistakes are stepping stones, not stumbling blocks. Think about the last time you tried something challenging. Did you tell yourself, "I'm just not good at this"? Or did you think, "I'll figure it out"? That inner dialogue shapes your outcome more than you realize. Cultivating a positive learning mindset starts with a simple shift, replacing "I can't" with "I can learn how." It's not about talent. It's about persistence. Every expert you admire was once a beginner who chose to keep going. Now let's talk about memory, something we often underestimate when it comes to learning. Have you ever met someone who seems to remember everything? You might think they're just naturally gifted, but the truth is, memory is a skill that can be developed. The human brain is an incredible organ, capable of storing vast amounts of information, but most of us don't know how to use it effectively. Imagine you're trying to memorize a list of random words. Instead of repeating them over and over, what if you created a story connecting each word? Suddenly, those random pieces of information become part of a narrative, and your brain holds onto them more easily. Memory techniques like visualization and association can transform how you learn. For example, if you're trying to remember someone's name, picture something unique about them that matches their name. If you meet a man named Mr. Green, imagine him standing in a lush green field. These small tricks make information stick because our brains love stories and images. The more vivid and personal the connection, the easier it is to recall later. But even with the best mindset and memory techniques, distractions can derail us. We live in a world that constantly pulls at our attention. Social media notifications, endless emails, the ping of a text message. How often do we sit down to learn something, only to find our minds wandering within minutes? Focus is a muscle, and like any muscle, it grows stronger with practice. One way to build focus is by creating a distraction-free environment. Turn off those notifications, set a timer, and commit to uninterrupted time for learning. Even 25 minutes of deep focus, followed by a short break, can be far more effective than hours of half-hearted effort. Another key to focus is mindfulness. Have you ever noticed how your thoughts drift when you're overwhelmed or stressed? Taking a moment to breathe deeply and center yourself before diving into learning can make all the difference. When your mind is calm, it's more open to absorbing information. Think of focus as a spotlight. The more you direct it toward what matters, the brighter the path to your goals becomes. So, as we set the stage for accelerated learning, remember this: your mindset sets the foundation, your memory enhances the process, and your focus drives it forward. Together, these elements create a powerful framework for mastering almost anything. Are you ready to unlock your potential? The journey begins with belief. Have you ever felt like you're drowning in a sea of information, unsure of how to make sense of it all? In a world overflowing with books, articles, and online content, the ability to read quickly and understand deeply is a superpower. Speed reading isn't about skimming the surface. It's about absorbing information faster while retaining the essence of what you're learning. Think about how often we get stuck on unnecessary details or reread the same sentence over and over. It's not because we lack comprehension. It's because our minds aren't trained to move efficiently. Imagine reading as if you're driving on a highway. Most of us crawl along, stopping to analyze every sign and detail. But speed reading teaches us to stay in the fast lane, focusing only on what matters. One way to start is by using a pointer, your finger, a pen, or even a cursor to guide your eyes across the text. This keeps your attention moving forward and prevents your mind from wandering. Another technique is to avoid subvocalization, that inner voice that pronounces every word as you read. By reducing this habit, you can take in chunks of words at a time, like scanning entire phrases instead of individual letters. But reading faster is only part of the equation. True mastery lies in comprehension. Have you ever read a chapter only to realize you couldn't recall a single thing? This happens when we don't actively engage with the material. Instead of passively reading, try asking questions as you go. What is the main idea? How does this connect to what I already know? When you read with curiosity, your brain forms stronger connections, making it easier to remember and apply what you've learned. Now let's talk about organizing all that knowledge. Have you ever heard of mind mapping? It's a technique that turns scattered information into a visual roadmap, making it easier to see the bigger picture. Imagine you're learning about a complex topic, like a new skill or subject. Instead of taking linear notes, you start with a central idea and branch out into related concepts. For example, if you're studying photography, the center of your mind map might say photography, with branches like camera settings, composition, and lighting. Under each branch, you add specific details, like tips and techniques. Mind mapping works because it mirrors how our brains naturally process information. We don't think in straight lines, we think in connections and associations. By creating a visual map, you're not just memorizing facts, you're understanding how they fit together. And the beauty of mind mapping is its flexibility. You can use it for anything, from planning a project to mastering a new language. It's a tool that transforms learning into something dynamic and engaging, helping you see patterns and insights that linear notes often miss. But learning isn't just about techniques, it's about action. How often do we consume information without applying it? We read books, watch tutorials, and attend workshops. But if we don't practice what we've learned, it fades away. Application is the bridge between knowledge and mastery. Think of a musician learning a new piece of music. They don't just read the sheet music. They play it repeatedly, refining their performance with each attempt. The same principle applies to any skill or subject. Let's say you're learning a new language. Reading vocabulary lists or watching videos is a good start. But real progress comes from speaking and writing in that language. It's through practice that your brain solidifies what you've learned. And practice doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, it shouldn't be. Mistakes are essential for growth. They show you where you need to improve and help you refine your approach. So, as you embrace these methods, speed reading, mind mapping, and application, remember that learning is an active process. It's not about passively consuming information. It's about engaging with it, organizing it, and putting it into practice. The more you immerse yourself in this process, the more you'll realize that there's no limit to what you can learn. What will you choose to master next? Let's take a moment to think about time. We all have the same 24 hours in a day, yet some people achieve so much while others struggle to keep up. Why is that? The key isn't just hard work, it's effective planning. Imagine if you had a clear, step-by-step roadmap to learn anything in just 48 hours. Wouldn't that change the way you approach your goals? It starts with breaking down the process into manageable pieces and focusing only on what truly matters. Think about the last time you felt overwhelmed by a big task. Maybe it was preparing for an exam, learning a new skill, or completing a project. Often, the stress comes from trying to do everything at once. But what if you could break that task into smaller, actionable steps? Instead of tackling everything at once, you focus on one step at a time. For example, if you're learning a new subject, you could divide your 48 hours into clear phases. Understanding the basics, diving deeper into key concepts, and reviewing everything for better retention. By creating a structured framework, you make the process less intimidating and far more achievable. Efficiency is another crucial factor. How often do we spend hours on something that could be done in less time with better focus? Time management isn't about cramming as much as possible into your day. It's about prioritizing the right things. One effective strategy is the 80-20th rule, which states that 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts. Ask yourself, what's the most important part of what I'm trying to learn? Once you identify that, pour your energy into mastering those key elements. But even with the best plans, challenges will arise. Have you ever started something with enthusiasm, only to lose motivation halfway through? Maybe you hit a difficult point and started doubting yourself. That's where understanding common learning challenges can make all the difference. One of the biggest hurdles is perfectionism. We often wait for the perfect time, tools, or conditions to begin. But the truth is, there's no perfect moment, just the one you decide to act on. Another challenge is fear of failure. We hesitate to try because we're afraid of making mistakes. But mistakes are not the enemy. They're part of the learning process. Every error is an opportunity to grow, to refine your understanding, and to move closer to mastery. When you embrace mistakes, you shift your mindset from fearing failure to seeing it as a stepping stone. Staying motivated is also a common challenge, especially when progress feels slow. Have you ever wondered why some people stick with their goals while others give up? The answer lies in purpose. When you have a clear reason for learning something, it becomes easier to push through difficulties. Take a moment to reflect on why you want to learn a particular skill or subject. Is it to advance your career, pursue a passion, or achieve a personal milestone? Whatever the reason, keep it at the forefront of your mind. It's your why that will keep you going when things get tough. Lastly, let's talk about real-world applications. Learning isn't just about gaining knowledge. It's about using that knowledge to make a difference. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to absorb information effortlessly, while others struggle to retain even the basics? The secret often lies in how they apply what they've learned. Theory is important, but practice is where true understanding happens. Consider someone learning to code. Reading books and watching tutorials can teach them the basics, but real skill comes from writing actual code, solving real problems, and building projects. The same is true for any field. Application turns abstract concepts into tangible skills. It bridges the gap between knowing and doing. So, as you move forward, remember this: learning is a journey, not a race. By creating a structured plan, addressing challenges head-on, and applying what you learn, you can achieve remarkable results in a short amount of time. The key is to stay focused, stay curious, and stay committed. What's the next challenge you'll conquer? Let's turn your dreams into action. As we come to the final steps in this journey, let's take a moment to reflect. What does it mean to truly learn? Is it simply about gaining knowledge for the moment, or is it about building something deeper, something that lasts a lifetime? The truth is, learning isn't just a short-term goal, it's a way of life. Mastering the art of learning can unlock limitless possibilities, but it requires a commitment to continuous growth. How often do we stop learning because we feel we've arrived? Perhaps we graduate, land a job, or achieve a goal, and we think the journey is over. But the most successful and fulfilled people know this: the journey never ends. Lifelong learning is about curiosity. It's about keeping your mind open to new ideas and challenges, no matter where you are in life. Think of all the changes happening in the world, the rapid advancements in technology, the evolving workplace, the constant stream of new discoveries. To thrive, we need to stay adaptable, and adaptability comes from a willingness to keep learning. The beauty of this mindset is that it transforms learning into a source of joy rather than a chore. When you see every new skill or piece of knowledge as an opportunity to grow, you create a mindset that keeps you motivated and engaged. But what does lifelong learning look like in practice? It starts with small, consistent steps. Have you ever tried to overhaul your habits overnight, only to find yourself slipping back into old patterns? Real change happens gradually, through simple, sustainable actions. Maybe it's reading for 15 minutes a day, signing up for an online course, or dedicating 1 hour each week to a new hobby. These small investments in yourself add up over time. building a foundation of knowledge and skills that you can draw on throughout your life. As you embrace this path, you'll also discover something unexpected: the connections between different areas of learning. Have you ever noticed how a lesson from one field can apply to another? For example, learning to play a musical instrument might teach you discipline and focus, skills that can be applied to work or study. Or perhaps studying history gives you a deeper understanding of current events. The more you learn, the more these connections emerge, creating a web of insights that enriches every aspect of your life. And here's something even more powerful: learning doesn't just benefit you, it benefits those around you. When you share what you've learned, whether through teaching, mentoring, or simply having conversations, you amplify its impact. Have you ever explained something to someone and found that it deepened your own understanding? Teaching is one of the best ways to solidify your knowledge, and it also creates a ripple effect, inspiring others to start their own learning journeys. As we conclude this exploration, let's think about what comes next. Learning is a tool, but it's also a responsibility. The knowledge and skills you acquire aren't just for your own benefit. They're for the betterment of the world. Whether it's solving a problem, creating something new, or helping someone else succeed, your learning has the potential to make a difference. What kind of impact do you want to have? The journey ahead is yours to shape. It's filled with opportunities to grow, to explore, and to contribute. Remember that every great achievement starts with a single step, and every expert was once a beginner. What you choose to learn today will shape the person you become tomorrow. So let this be your invitation to embrace the lifelong adventure of learning, to keep asking questions, and to keep reaching for more. Because when you commit to learning, you unlock the best version of yourself, and there's no limit to what you can achieve. As we approach the conclusion of this journey, let's reflect on the essence of what we've explored. Learning is a deeply personal process, but it's also universal, a skill that connects us all. Yet, even with all the techniques, strategies, and frameworks we've discussed, the journey doesn't stop there. The path to mastering anything, especially within a limited time, requires resources, guidance, and a mindset of curiosity. Have you ever noticed how having the right tools can make a challenging task feel effortless? Imagine trying to build a house without proper equipment. It's nearly impossible. The same principle applies to learning. Having the right tools and resources is like equipping yourself with a map before setting out on an unfamiliar journey. Whether it's books, online courses, apps, or even mentors, the right resources can help you focus your efforts and maximize your results. But here's the secret: resources are only as valuable as the way you use them. Have you ever downloaded a dozen apps or bookmarked countless articles, only to realize you're overwhelmed and unsure where to start? The key is to curate carefully. Choose quality over quantity. Find the tools that align with your learning goals and dedicate yourself to them fully. Beyond resources, there's another powerful tool that often goes unnoticed: asking questions. Have you ever felt stuck, unsure of how to move forward? In those moments, seeking clarity from someone who's been through it can be transformative. Whether it's a teacher, a colleague, or even a friend, don't hesitate to reach out. The willingness to ask questions is a sign of strength, not weakness. It shows that you're committed to understanding and growing. As we close this exploration, let's think about the big picture. What happens when you embrace this approach to learning and apply it to your life? You create opportunities, not just for yourself, but for others too. Have you ever shared something you've learned, only to see it inspire or help someone else? It's a powerful reminder that knowledge isn't just a personal asset. It's a gift you can give. When you learn, grow, and share, you create a ripple effect that extends far beyond you. And finally, let's talk about what comes next. Every journey needs a starting point, but it also needs momentum to continue. The conclusion of one chapter is the beginning of another. So ask yourself, what's the next challenge you want to tackle? What skill or knowledge have you been putting off, waiting for the right time? Now is that time. Armed with these strategies and insights, You have everything you need to take the next step. The journey of learning is endless, but that's what makes it exciting. There's always more to discover, more to explore, and more to achieve. It's not just about the destination. It's about the process, the growth, the struggles, the breakthroughs, and the joy that comes from understanding something new. So as you leave here today, carry this message with you. The ability to learn is your greatest asset. It's the key to unlocking your potential, achieving your dreams, and making a difference in the world. What will you learn next? The answer lies in your hands.